In a moment, what today's Russian papers are saying about the Russian economy. First, Donald Trump and Russia, Ukraine and Europe. In today's Argumenty Fakty, this political scientist is delighted by the strained relations between the Trump administration and Europe over support for Ukraine. Soviet leaders' dream of driving a wedge between the European part of NATO and the United States has come true. Individual countries are ready to rebel against America. The Americans and the Russians are talking. This was President Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff with Vladimir Putin last Friday in Komsomolskaya Pravda. The Americans and the Ukrainians, well, Kommersant writes that relations between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky, which seem to have improved a little, have once again descended into arguments and mutual insults. What is more, there is a paradoxical situation. Moscow and the US administration find themselves together in their standoff with Trump's opponents in America and in Europe. Moskovsky Komsomolets writes that Trump is destroying the world created by American liberals. Moscow's reaction? Russian Senator Alexei Pushkov claims that none of the steps Trump has taken threatens Russia's interests directly. I don't think we will perish under the rubble of the old world order that's collapsing. Quite the opposite. Overall, the changes in the global system serve our interests. First of all, Trump's belief that Russia and America are not destined to be mortal enemies. If this policy develops without a hitch, it could lead to extremely positive results for Russia and our relations with the US. It's no surprise that Europe is up in arms. Mr. Pushkov is asked, so you're not disillusioned yet with Trump? No, not yet, but never say never. On to economic news. And that's not great for Russia. Moskovsky Komsomolets reports that the price of air tickets may jump by 40% in the summer. Mortgage arrears are at a record high. There's no risk yet to macroeconomics, but for the banks, this is pretty dangerous. Argumenty Fakty, wage arrears are rising in Russia. Alarming statistics show that wage arrears are ballooning for the second year in a row. And while Nezavisima Gazeta reports that since the start of the year, the ruble is nearly 30% stronger against the dollar, Kommersant warns of the fallout from Donald Trump's trade wars. An economist tells the paper, for Russia, the drop in oil prices will be one of the key consequences of the US tariffs. $60 a barrel is the average annual price of Urals crude oil that is comfortable for Russia's economy. At $40, GDP will fall. $50 is the watershed and equal to around zero growth. On April the 9th, the Urals price fell below $50 a barrel for the first time since June 2023. By this week, the price had recovered somewhat, but the International Energy Agency forecasts another drop.